This is WSFI Spotlight, a conversation with Catholics living in the light.
So delighted today to welcome Bill Donohue, president of Catholic League, known to all Catholics as a fighter for Catholic ideals, faith, and religious freedom in America. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bill, as many of you know, is the faith warrior, the culture warrior. He's been involved in fighting for Catholicism against Disney, against Bill Maher, even against the LA Dodgers. And now Bill finds himself at the crosshairs with the FBI. Bill, you and I know we'd never imagined this day when the FBI would be weaponized against Catholics. Can you imagine?
No, when I grew up in an Irish family where a large number of the men were in law enforcement, the police department, in particular the NYPD, but also in the FBI. And we have great respect. And to this day, I have great respect for the average male and female who's working in the FBI. Yeah. I have great concern. It's not even skepticism at this point. I have become very cynical of what has happened to the elite, not just in the FBI. I don't want to go into everything else, but it's happening all over, the medical profession, the corporations, and whatnot. But let's stay with the FBI. There are senior people in the FBI who have an animus against religion and against Catholicism in particular. And what I learned was just a year ago, a whistleblower from the FBI indicated, and he had memos to show that there was an orchestrated attempt in the FBI to spy on Catholics. At that point, they said they were like the very orthodox ones. Well, first of all, I don't care who it is. What reasonable suspicion did you have that these Catholics were breaking the law? I remember saying at that time, they're going to go after just regular Catholics, mainline Catholics. This is not going to this is a ruse. This idea we're going to go after some of the crazies or something like that. Every group has its crazies. Okay, we'll give them that. But what was the trigger? And yes, I was right. They went after mainline Catholics. And to this day, they have not come clean with all the evidence that they supposedly have.
Well, Bill, I just read your letter to Chris Wray, and it was very, very powerful and very pointed. And in your letter, you're basically saying the FBI has been stonewalling Congress's investigation into the weaponization of the FBI. That is even more concerning than the actual weaponization, in my mind. The fact that they won't give up this information. What's really going on? Who's triggering this? Is it the left-wing nonprofits? Is it really somebody within the Justice Department? Have you been able to determine who's driving this agenda?
Not by name, but what you just said is accurate. Let me be specific here. We know that the Southern Poverty Law Center, the FBI has admitted this is not a matter of opinion, but right. They were consulted and they relied on the information about Catholics. Now, this is a far left-wing organization, which names people like friends of mine, Tony Perkins, an evangelical, the head of the Family Research Council, as someone on their hate list and the like. They have actually said that Antifa, which is an urban terrorist organization, should not be labeled as such. Yeah. So we know that, so the FBI is relying on them. I've asked Jim Jordan, who, by the way, he has been magnificent. Representative Jim Jordan, he's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. I wrote to him 5 times last year, and we stay in contact with their staff. I'm not faulting them. They've done their best to press them on this. That's part of it. These people are working outside of the organization, such as the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's also true that within the organization, there are people working like this. So we want to know more about that. But what we are asking is what Jim Jordan and the others have asked. Why has the FBI not released the unredacted form? All we get are the redacted forms. We want to see the evidence. If there's no cover-up and there's no wrongdoing and there was just some, quote, mistakes made, well, why can't you share this with us? No, I actually think I wouldn't be surprised, though I can't prove this, and I made it clear to Jim Jordan. I believe there are people on the left in Catholic circles. Mm-hmm. I say that because Ray says, well, some of the people working on this are Catholics. I've met my share of rogue Catholics in this job, okay? I'll take an honest Protestant over any of these people.
Right.
And so if they may be working in cahoots, feeding all kinds of dirt to the FBI and what to look for and who to go after. So there are so many unanswered questions that it's revolting.
Well, Bill, you said something in the letter that was really startling and frankly sinister. You said that the FBI has permanently deleted critical records relating to this FBI Richmond memo that we now know just was not related to Richmond, but was involving a number of FBI field offices. Is it true? This is a huge cover-up if they have permanently erased information with respect to this investigation.
Yes, it is. And, this is not any excuse. There's so much wrongdoing, as you well know, and all the viewers know, going on in Washington, that nobody can keep up with all the committees and the explorations and this and that and what's going on. But this should be at the top of the list. Quite frankly, if this was Muslims, for example, who were being spied upon in their mosque, but simply praying, I think that this would be treated somewhat differently. And to some extent, I can blame Catholics too. We've become too relaxed, too comfortable. And I've been saying this for years. We need to pressure these people. Can't do everything, but I am very pleased with the reaction we're getting from a lot of people. And of course, EWTN has been fabulous on this. But there's so many unanswered questions. If they why would you permanently delete something unless it's so incendiary and so shown of guilt? I mean, it smacks of a major cover-up. And that's why I wrote again to Ray, because I just want to keep the heat on. They were supposed to answer by February 15th.
This has been going on for what, a year and a half? I mean, it's insane.
Well, it's over a year now, and they've been. Ray keeps saying though there are a couple of mistakes made. Well, they lied about it. They said it was first it was Richmond, then we found it was other offices. Then we found out they were just a platform for others. This was going to go nationwide. Had this whistleblower not come forward, we wouldn't know where the FBI is going right now. And because I'm a conservative Catholic leader, I'm sure I'd love to see the books on me.
Yeah. And Bill, you have your ear to the ground in the U.S. Catholic Church. Do you think that they are, number one, still targeting Catholics, pro-lifers? Do you think that they continue to pursue this underground weaponization of the FBI against Catholics?
Yes, and I'll tell you why, to be specific. I said before, sometimes I can't prove things. That's what Jim Jordan and his oversight committee found, that it's still ongoing. So this is not a matter of conjecture. It is still going on. To what extent, obviously, I don't know, but that's not a matter of speculation. It is still going on. What are they looking for? And why is it always the Orthodox Catholics?
Yeah.
If somebody goes to a Latin Mass, is he a threat to America? I mean, it's astonishing.
Well, Bill, you've got a doctorate in sociology. You tell me why the left is so terrified of traditional Catholics, of pro-lifers, who, largely have, law-abiding, big families trying to, get their kids through school, raise good human beings and citizens. Why is the left coming after these, individual groups of people?
Because we won't cooperate, because they want us to be obedient. They want us to be subservient. And they know that if you're a strong Catholic and on a conservative side, that you're their enemy. Look, I don't have the time to go into it right now, but whether it's the communists in the past or the fascists or the elites in our society today, including some in the corporate world, not just in the government, the two biggest obstacles to total control and the kind of thought control that I alluded to earlier are the family and religion.
Yes. Because
that's where people's primary loyalties are. They want our loyalty to be to them, to the government, in the case of the corporation. They see observant Catholics, observant Jews, observant Muslims, observant Protestants as a threat. But they always begin with the Catholics because we're hierarchical. We've been around for 1,000 years. We have a rich tradition, and they think that they can chip away at us. So it's not a surprise to me as a sociologist and as someone who tracks this that they would go after us. You're right about that. We are a threat to them.
Yes. And Bill, you brought up a really interesting point. you said, if this was being done by Muslims, they would demand, that it stop. They'd have a meeting with the FBI. I know they do have meetings with the FBI. You should be in, and the Catholic leaders should be in, constantly banging on the table saying, what are you doing to us? I mean, the FBI owes Catholics, how many millions of Catholics in the United States? They demand, we should demand an answer and demand that it stopped. What's really concerning is that without this whistleblower, we would know. And, that is something that, what else don't we know?
Well, remember what happened in 2016 with WikiLeaks? We found out that John Podesta, who's back in the Biden administration,
yes, he is,
was working with others to develop a Catholic spring. They wanted a revolution within the Catholic Church. He admitted to founding two organizations, which I exposed and fought with for years: Catholics in Alliance for the Common Good and Catholics United. And they were dummy organizations. I fought them for years and exposed them as that, but they admitted it now. It's actually clear. So you have people who are trying to subvert the Catholic Church. He may be a professed Catholic. That's fine. I don't care. But he's working in the Biden administration. He worked for Hillary Clinton, who was the head of the Center for American Progress. So it's at the highest levels. It's always the elites. It's not the average man or woman in the pew or in the streets. It's the elites whom I don't trust.
Well, Bill, I'm really glad you've got your eye on John Podesta. I think he's up to no good. I think the fact that they brought him in to this administration, he's going to be pushing, and he understands the Catholic Church, being a Catholic.
Yes.
You read those emails, you understand how he's manipulating the left Catholics into his agenda. Bill, what can Catholics do about this?
The best thing they can do is to go onto our website and just type in FBI in the search engine, find out what I wrote about last week, but find out what I've written about all last year. You will see at the bottom of these letters, for example, to Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, his email or a contact for him. You will also see the email or contact for Representative Jim Jordan, who's on our side. Wray has to be pressed and let him know that we want answers. We're not going to walk away on this. Let Jordan know that we give him our support. And they're very pleased, and we don't want him to back off. He's tenacious, and he needs our encouragement. We just can't let the good guys go either. We give the email addresses on the bottom of the news releases. All people have to do is just click on it and just write a few sentences, and that would be a great help. Because if they get bombarded, and they have been already, that's the only way to get our voice heard.
Well, thank you, Bill, for all you're doing for America, for freedom, for the Catholic Church.
Thank you so much.
This has been WSFI Spotlight. For more information on this or any other program, email info@wsfiradio.org.